Hey guys, it's Annie, and this video topic is one that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but for the longest time I was terrified to speak on this subject, but I've overcome a lot of my fears. I don't know if I can say I've overcome a lot of my fears. I have stepped into my fears and they haven't killed me, so that is great. And part of my fear has been expressing all of my thoughts around these sorts of subjects and spirituality and just all the different layers, because I know people, it's like it can be a very triggering subject for people, especially people in my family where I came from, so it's something I've held back on. And that is law of attraction, manifestation. Is it mindset or is it spiritual? Because there are people on every single level of the spectrum. There are people who are just on the mindset side of manifestation. There are people who are very, very, very spiritual. There are people within different religions. It's, you know, it's a lot. So I'm gonna talk about my perception of this today. And I'll start off by saying I grew up Christian. I went to church. I went to church camp. I went to Sunday school. I went to Bible study on Wednesdays. I did all of that. And then when I, hit my depression in my 20s, there were a couple of years where I definitely identified as atheist. I was so, I rarely outwardly identified as that because I didn't want my family to think any different of me or think my soul was doomed for eternity and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, I had some years where I definitely identified as atheist because I felt so low, so depressed. I thought, how can we as a human species, how can we as humans on this tiny little floating speck of dust in the universe have the answers to this? I thought, what did we know? There's so much out there. It's stupid for any of us to think that we know how any of it works. And especially with how horrible I felt, I was just completely cut off from any faith, any belief system. In all honesty, it was getting into the law of attraction and manifestation that brought me out of that. And at the beginning, when I was first getting into it, I wasn't like, I think that this is a spiritual thing. I had what you would call church hurt, like church hurt, trauma. I do believe that there are some very toxic things within religion, especially telling a child that if you don't behave, if you don't do these certain things this certain way, you're going to suffer and burn in hell for all of eternity. I think that's a very traumatizing thing, and I feel like that is a shame to teach people. I don't believe that anymore, and that's possibly an entirely different video. If you want me to make a video on specifically what I believe, I can totally do that. But yeah, I had a lot of church hurt, so getting into manifestation, it was definitely mindset based at first. And I proved to myself that just off of mindset shifts, I could manifest. Like the first however long, maybe even first year of getting into the law of attraction and manifestation, it was all mindset work for me. And it like blew my mind. I'm like, I don't know how this works. I'm not gonna say it's like a spiritual thing, but it's working. So I totally 100% believe that if you're like, nah, spirituality, all of that, that's not for me, therefore I can't get into manifestation. I disagree with that. I think that you can get into it no matter what end of the spectrum you're on. And it worked for me when I didn't think it was this overly spiritual thing. I didn't know how it worked, but it worked. They also have a lot of studies on manifestation. This is an example I like to share. They have studies with these athletes who visualize, and visualization is a manifestation technique. They visualize vividly what they want, the outcome. Usually it is to prevail in whatever their sport is. So they'll visualize, and one study that they have is 3 groups of basketball players. So the first group, they practice making shots into the basket. The second group, they have purely just visualize making shots into the basket. And the third group, they don't practice at all. So after all of that, they did a test where they had all of these athletes making actual shots. And the group who practice, as well as the group who visualized, did just as good of a job. They had just as much accuracy, where the group who did not practice or visualize, they had a big decrease in accuracy. And that was just off of visualization, because our subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a vivid visualization and actually physically doing that thing. So visualization, like I talk about visualizing your dream home a lot, because that's how I manifested my apartment. Like, visualize it. What does it look like? How does it feel to be there? Get really specific in your visualizations. And your subconscious mind basically feels like it's actually experiencing that. And your subconscious mind wants what it is experiencing to be in alignment with your physical environment. So then on a subconscious level, your mind is trying to figure out ways to make those two things, visualization and your physical world, match, because it wants everything to flow and it doesn't want things to be out of balance and out of whack. So there are plenty of things that back up the mindset aspect of manifestation and the law of attraction. And again, like I said, the first year or so of getting into all of this, I just viewed it as a mindset thing. I thought it was like crazy and cool how it worked, but I didn't get it. I didn't understand, but hey, it worked. So we went with it, and here we are now. But it was when I started realizing that there's so much more to it. It's not just mindset work. And I started shifting to viewing it from a spiritual lens. Everything changed. Things started coming to me. People who were super aligned with me started coming to me. And life just feels limitless and magical and beautiful. And I have a lot less fear and uncertainty. But with that, I want to put out there, yes, I did grow up Christian, but I'm not necessarily claiming that now. I prefer not to have a label, because I feel like religions kind of box you in, and there are things that I agree and disagree with in many different religions, but I don't think that you have to have one specific belief system in order to get into manifestation and the law of attraction at all. Like, you can be Christian, you can definitely be Buddhist, you can be Jewish. It doesn't matter. It just matters your intentions behind it. And I know a lot of people, especially within Christianity, oftentimes they get triggered by this subject of manifestation and the law of attraction, and they think it's a bad thing. But it's so funny, because one thing that I've come to understand with religions is they're all trying to discover and express the same things, oftentimes the same things, but they're using different language around it. Like, I know a lot of people within Christianity who are very triggered by the word the universe. In the law of attraction manifestation, we mention the universe a lot, like ask the universe, co-create with the universe, all of this. And a lot of Christians are like, no, you do that with God, you don't do that with the universe. And they're very triggered by it. But I want to challenge those people and say, what if the word God that you're using and the feeling that you have behind that word versus someone saying the universe and they have this feeling behind that word? What if you both feel the exact same thing almost? I mean, obviously no one feels the exact same thing, but just for this specific example, what if God, universe, two separate people, they feel the exact same emotion, they feel and have almost the same belief in a way towards those words, like they are equivalent and mirroring each other, and the main thing that's being fought over or triggered over is the one specific word behind it. Same with, you know, saying affirmations or visualizing. People in religion oftentimes get triggered by visualizations and speaking what you want to the universe. Again, it's a disconnect in language. Prayer, affirmations, prayer, visualization. Like, what if you viewed visualization as a visual prayer. Like, all I'm saying is simply changing the language around what's being said makes me come to the conclusion that we're literally mostly just fighting over the words we're using over what our intentions are. Like, we're fighting over the words, but we're feeling the same thing oftentimes. And I believe every single religion, wars behind these religions, it's based off of fighting over language used. I say visualize, they get triggered. Okay, then they can switch that word to prayer. I say script, write a letter, request to the universe what you want. Change the wording. Okay, I'm writing a letter to God. Like, it's literally language. Do you get it? Like, do you get it? And therefore, if it is just language, you can tailor this to whatever your belief system is, and you get to decide what it means for you. You get to have the energy. You get to bring the energy to it and the language that you're comfortable with to it. But I have personally let myself out of that box of limitation, and it doesn't matter the language I use, it matters how I feel. And as you guys know, the law of attraction is all about being a vibrational match for what you want. So coming from a loving place, coming from a high vibrational place to attract the things that you want into your life. There's nothing bad or wrong with allowing things into your life and manifesting things into your life from a high vibrational space, which just means like a loving, open-hearted space. So basically what I'm trying to say is manifestation, the law of attraction, it is for everyone. You can be just on the mindset side. You can be in the middle, like, I don't know, I'm just testing it out. It might be spiritual, I'm figuring it out. Cool, you can do that. There. you can be in whatever religion that you want. Make it work. Use language that feels more comfortable to you. Or just free yourself from the box and be like, wow, the universe is freaking expansive and never ending, so why should we box anything in? Because our little human brains just want things to fit into a little thing that we can comprehend, but it's like so far past our comprehension. So why limit ourselves? I do feel like once you are able to, and again, you don't ever have to, but if you ever do open up to look at it through a spiritual lens, it makes you unstoppable in it because you no longer fear. And when I was just in that mindset space, like, oh, it's just mindset, I did have these blocks of like, I don't know what's gonna work. Like, I don't know, it's weird, like it doesn't make much sense. And there was a lot of doubt, but now it's like, I have no doubt and things just work out. And it's just, yeah, blossomed into this really amazing thing. And I feel truly free, emotionally free, if that makes sense. There are so many things that I could talk about, but we'll start off with that for today. If this made you think at all, or like brought some stuff up, or you have some questions and want to start a conversation down below, I open up the floor to you, so comment away. I just ask that you respect each other. I mean, I can't make you guys do anything, but I just would like to request respect. And if you see someone saying something that you don't agree with, well, for one, you don't have to respond. If you don't have to. But also another great response when we don't see eye to eye with someone is, that's a very interesting perspective. I'm gonna leave that one with you, but thank you for sharing. That was taught to me by my mentor, because I would get triggered by people and she's like, just say like, interesting perspective. I'm gonna leave that one with you though, because it never does any good to shove and force aggressively. So I just request that you interact from an open-minded space, because I know that this is definitely a triggering topic. And again, there are so many more things I can say on this subject, but that's where we're gonna start. We can definitely continue this conversation in other videos. But give this video a thumbs up if it made you think a little bit, or if there are any parts of it that you resonated with. And yeah, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye guys.